Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to paint with Brushos and make this fabulous card with gold specks on top. I'm not sure if you can see that. There's, depending on how much ink you get, or the Brushos you use is how dark your flower will be, but I'll show you a few tips and tricks, and then also how to get the gold specks on there. So we're going to start off with a 3x4 piece of cardstock, and we're using the You've Got This stamp set, and I keep my black very wet so that I can emboss it because I like the look of the embossing. So we're going to stamp this and then emboss it in clear really fast. This way I'm ensured that it's not going to bleed or have anything happen that I don't want to have happen. Okay, so now I'm going to heat set this. Alright, so now it's all shiny. Let's see if I can show you. It's not working very well on being shiny, like so you can see. Get this light in a little bit closer. Okay, so now we're going to get our Brushos, and I've got this cute little tray, and I'm only going to use blue and yellow for this whole flower. So you're going to sprinkle some blue in a couple places. One you want a lot, and one you want a little. And then we're gonna use yellow. I like to keep them apart by at least one so that I don't accidentally get them dirty. And this one's gonna get yellow because blue and yellow make green. And you're gonna have to check with your Aqua Painter to see if that really makes it green, because sometimes it's too dark and then other times it's not dark enough. So I use the one next to it to kind of see, and I want a little bit more yellow in that because I want it to be a little bit lighter of a green. Okay, let's see how that goes. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to take off most of the color, and I'm going to have a little paper towel just to like dab a little bit, and I'm going to go down the stem, and that's way wet, so there we go. I am not squeezing my Aqua Painter at all. I squeezed it to get the brush tips wet, and that was it. Okay, let me dab that so that that little pool of water doesn't stay. Alright, so now I'm going to clean off. Oh, wait, this is a leaf. Forgot that one. So I'm going to clean off my brush till it runs clear, because I don't want my middle flower part to be anything but yellow. So here's my yellow, and I didn't put a lot in there because I don't need a lot. And I'm just going to go across. That's really vivid. That's one thing I found out with Brushos, is it's a very bright color. Alright, so I'm going to squeeze some of my water in here. Stir it around. And I just want to make sure it's not super wet to start with. So I think I'm going to go where I think the highlights would be, which would be in these little spots and in there. I do the highlight, or the dark parts first, because I think that would, then I can come back in and lighten everything up. Alright, so now I'm going to come back in with the blue, but make it really wet, and then just do a wash. Of course, being careful at the edges. me get a little closer so that you can see better. Now this is pretty dark, so it will really pop when the gold gets on it. And you can always clean your brush off and then it will lighten it up just a little. But you can still see my highlights or the shadows. And this is watercolor, so if you go out of the lines, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, I really like that. It's got, let me pick it up so you can see. It's pretty wet, so I'm going to heat set it. Not totally, and I'm done with this so far. I want to clean off my brush really well because I'm going to come in with blue for the background, and that is going to be Soft Sky. And I'm just picking it by squeezing this so that it ends up into the palette at on the top. And I'm just going, let's see, I'm going to bring you back just a little bit. Okay. And now I'm just going to do a wash on the back. I really like that. Okay. So then I'm going to come in with my Dapper Denim and sponge the edges because I really like it when it's dark. And find my sponges. Okay, so I'm going to come in and sponge the edges because I really love it when it's really dark around the edges. All right, pretty so far, yes? Woo. Okay, so now I'm going to heat set it again because I want to make sure that the white will not stick, or the gold won't stick to anything else. All right, so now I'm going to come in with my palette thing again and white, craft white ink. And I'm going to put some in this. You don't need a ton, but you want enough to where it will stick onto your brush. So I want to make sure my brush is really clean. Alright, so I'm going to take this. Now this is a little messy. I ended up with it all over myself the other day. And you're just going to hold it over and tap. And this gives you a really nice edge. See how pretty that is? Now you could leave it white, but I think the gold and the blue look awesome together. So I'm going to pick this up. Alright, then I got to heat set it. Alright, so now I have that gold on there. Isn't it gorgeous? Alright, so then I'm going to back it onto a piece of the gold glimmer. This was cut at 3 by 4. And this is 3.5 by 3 1/4. No, I'm sorry. If it's 4, it'd be 4 1/4 by 3 1/2. And the way to get this to stick to that, because it's watercolor paper, fast fuse just didn't work, so I'm going to use glue dots. So I'm going to put glue dots all over the edges. And a couple in the middle. some reason that sticks right away. All right, then I'm going to come in with a 5 by 3 3/4 piece of Dapper Denim. Three 7/8 by 5 1/8 piece of white. I like the look of it just barely showing up, and then a 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 piece of Dapper Denim. And then you will just come in with the really pretty glitter and clear epoxy ones and put some on here so that they look like dewdrops. And this is an absolutely stunning card, and I hope everyone likes it at On Stage when I go and swap with it. And I will have on my blog the pictures here, and also when I come back I will put some of my swaps on there. So I hope you like this. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss my next one, and I'll see you next week. Thanks.